I'm referring to our children. Yes, those guys. Yeah, those guys that you and your partner invited to come to your family. They're the ones I'm talking about. Our children. Yeah. You've done everything that's possibly within your powers to cater for them. Wonderful. Good. But it just still seems like, what else do you guys want? There's something else them guys want. It's something very important. And that's something very important them guys want is you. You how? I mean, you, bow. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. You how? Yes, it's you. You, mom. You, dad. Because after all you have done and given to them, they still need, require, look forward to, want your presence. And it's not, you know, inactive presence. They want not malicious presence. You are there and then everybody could actually do without you being there. No, not that type. They want you with them. But unfortunately, as parents, in the process of having to do things, work, whether you're self-employed or you have a paid job, you do things to provide for your family, for your children. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your focus, your passion is for your job. You know your job. You are good. In the office, everybody's like, why is Richie? Oh, I said Richie. Okay, John. Okay. Why is John not here? Why is John? Why is John? Why? Because John's presence lights the factory floor, the office, the field space up. John seems to be the go-to person in the company, in the team. Okay, everybody. Okay. John has solution to most anything. John does those magical things at work. Spent. But John can't afford to be spent. Why? Because John, Mary are really employed on two jobs. One is self-employment. They employ themselves because remember, Mary and John wrote, invited the children via birth, and the children are there. So that is self-employment. It's called parenting. It's a full-time, lifetime job. But let's leave the lifetime bit of it. Let's talk about the full-time aspect of it. So John, Mary, you are on two shifts. Your work shift and your home shift. Your home shift is your time with your family. So we are going to talk on this program about how to work smart. So you do not spend all your energy at work and get home drained. And then you are an empty sack when you get home. No. The children see, they notice, they're waiting exactly back. Daddy will soon be back. Mommy will soon be back. The car is pulling out. Hey, and daddy comes out. Daddy, see what I see my drum. Please, later. You just you had just thrown a very wet, not damp, a very wet blanket, okay, on that child's enthusiasm. And maybe even interest in doing that thing again. Even if it does it again, you might not bother with bringing it to show you. Those are some of the things we risk. But can't you see I'm tired? I've had a hard day at work. Who sent you? They didn't send. Okay, you say they send. If I don't go to work, how would I feed them? Oh yeah, you're right. We didn't say you're wrong, but they don't understand that grammar, the way you're speaking it. You have a legitimate, point, but they have a point too. They want their daddy. They want their mommy. They want to tell you about their day at school, at home, when you were not around, things that happened, maybe with the housekeeper, maybe. Remember, this whole issue about building a communication relationship with your children from when they are young, it can't be done passively. It has to be done with all the tools and all the best practices in communication that you've read about, both verbally and non-verbally. Your body language, what comes out of your mouth when you get home, when you talk with them, everything comes to play as you build that relationship. So it's up to you to make it a positive two-way one when they can easily come to you, or daddy doesn't like anybody talking, then go. And like we said, you probably also have toiled enough to buy them a device. So they make the device their daddy and mommy. We've been saying that it keeps cropping up each program because it's key. Communication is key to your building relationship with anybody, especially your children as they grow. What you did not impute as they are growing up, you can't come when they have grown and they say, hey, come, sit down. You are going to your husband's house now. Let me advise you. He'll be looking at you and say, excuse me, uh, at what o'clock? And some children will vocalize it. Some children would ask you that question. Mom or dad, we've not been having, so why would it be important now that you want to tell me how? You feel bad. That's the part of the cost of getting spent and not coming home, having enough energy to engage at home. Okay? I'm just trying to get us started, and community members have already started uh, making their comments, throwing in their questions. Um, we would oblige because that's why we're here. Okay? We would oblige. This community member says, are you saying as parents we shouldn't do our best at work? I haven't said that. I haven't said that. We're only just saying work smart. And if you hang on as we get on this program, we will walk you through, we walk us through some steps in working smart and saving your energy. Some of us, we talked about John being the heart of the company, the team, Some of us, the people who work with us have seen that we seem to want to do everything. So they'll give you everything to do now. Beyond even the job for which you are employed. They see you are valuable. You're always available to take on that extra thing. You are not doing anybody a favor, including especially yourself. And most importantly, your children, your family at home. Get to do things at work that are the primary things you are employed to do. Get organized, prioritize your tasks in terms of which one. Don't leave home, girl, going to work. You don't know what you are going to do until you get there. No, plan. Okay, have a schedule. You know your job, you know whatever project, whatever tasks the company, and you know the bit of it that is your responsibility. Let me fast forward. Even if we remove your family, let me say something else to you. If you do not learn how to work smart and you fall ill, you drop, that company would continue. God forbid, well, you can't continue that job. Do you think the rest will go home and say, oh, John is no longer available, so we are not working here again? No. They'll find somebody else. It might not be John, or maybe I might not be as good as you, but they will certainly find somebody else. So don't get to work and, overwork. So we didn't say don't do your best. Doing your best at work does not mean you should go out of your way to do things that are not primary. You can help. There's an emergency, there's a crisis. That's why it's called emergency. That's why it's called crisis. Every day cannot be crisis at the workplace. Every day cannot be emergency at the workplace. No. Sometimes there are things that, well, you have the capacity to do that thing, to help that department or to help that individual whose primary task it is to do that thing. But then the company, some things are on the line. Delays, timelines, deadlines. Okay, it cannot be every day. The smartness of it, or the smartness about it when it now comes to your family and your home, is when you have to do something and you know that, yes, you're going to require extra, and call. Thank God there's cell phone, call. Guys, I'm going to be a bit late today and the office is crazy. Oh, Dad, okay. Well, so don't wait up for me. Engage. So that day, yeah, but such days don't happen every day. That's the issue here. Such days are not regular things. If you work in a place that's scenario every day, maybe you don't have a job. Okay? You have a workplace, you don't have a job. Every day is crisis. Your health, your health is key for you even to continue to do that job properly and then get home and play your role at home. Mom, dad, we're not talking about daddies alone. Everybody works. Okay? So I didn't say don't do your best at work. Of course, why would you take a job and not do your best there? Your best don't mean stress. Okay? Your best don't mean every day you are trying to catch up on things. No. So something is wrong. You need to prioritize. You need to do what is key for the day. Okay? You don't do tomorrow's work today. And you don't leave yesterday's work undone so that you can do it today. Those are all aspects of working smart. Do what is for today. You've prioritized, you've scheduled what you need to do. Work at the urgent, the timeline, the deadline, start, and then run down the day. Okay? Don't overload your daily routine, whether you're self-employed or you're working for a paycheck. Okay? So you need to do your best. We never said you shouldn't do your best. Okay? Another community member says, how can I communicate my exhaustion to my kids in a way that still reassure them of my love and presence? I mentioned earlier, call from the office or call from the traffic. You actually manage to escape office, you still, at least you still have some energy in the sack to get inside your car or take transportation. You are there at the traffic, you are held up and call. Like I said, thank God for mobile phones. Call. Guys, that is tired. Well, I don't know the shape I'm going to be in when I get home. I hope you won't be upset. Joke about it. Call each of them, talk to them if you have more than one, if they are the age that you can, have such conversations, and let them know. Most times, even as adults, what creates problems in homes is lack of information, lack of communication. Let them know. You have the means to get at them at home. Guys, look, I'm having my lunch break right here now. But today it's so stressful. I don't know what shape I'm going to be when I go. That you mean you won't be able to do my homework as we agreed? I haven't said so, but I'm just saying I don't know what shape I'll be in. You have that conversation. At least you put people, as the day gets to draws to a close, as you are close, you would assess yourself and know what shape you're in. If you need to do a follow-up call and say, it looks like you are going to ask mom to help you do that homework because it looks like I'm going to be a bit late. Okay? Always put people in the know about what you are doing, your family, your children. It's not, oh, their children, what's their business? They say, I paid their school fees, I give them food, they have it nice clothes to wear, so what else? No, there's something else, you. Okay? That's the point we're trying to make. Another community member here said, if there's no way around being tired after work, can't I just make up for it later by spending time with my children on other days? You can. That's actually, well, part of the strategies we're going to mention. Well, so now that somebody has asked about it, we can talk about it here now. Okay, you know your work schedule. You know that despite my saying don't spend or don't work, energy is energy. All of us are not given our tolerance level for different things are not the same. Okay, so you now know that unless you work every day of the week, which again I don't think anybody should do really. Okay, you know those days you're not going to work. Plan to be and agree. And agree with them. Discuss it. Remember, we keep saying communicate, communicate, communicate. Discuss it. Tell them, let them know. Specific things that they want you to do for them. Schedule it for those days. Outing, walk in the park, ride the bicycle, take the dog out, whatever. Go to the agree. We'll do it someday. Guys, I'm off so days. So who wants to do me? Okay. We will do yours between this time and this time. Schedule it. Okay? So when you now come home tired from work, you already have an agreement that look, and not say greet daddy when we come back. Hello, how are you? Okay. Well, that project, well, we have agreed when we're doing it. Yes, daddy, good. Everybody's happy. They know you remember. They know you have them at heart. But you're tired. Legitimately so. You are tired. Look, my saying don't go home spent. I'm not in any way discounting or discounting, I mean, reducing or not appreciating the fact that energy is energy. When you do things that will sap your energy will be sapped. Depending on what it is you do, whatever it is you do. People have this notion that people who work in offices who are not carrying load in the farm field or carrying some things on the factory floor, you wear tie in the office that you're not doing anything. I think you should go and ask psychologists there are researchers, okay? You're carrying, yeah. The person who is sitting at is carrying stuff inside here, inside. That stuff has to come out and become something concrete on the outside. Yes, called production. He has to produce something from that sitting, wearing that tie or whatever it's putting on. It has something has to come out of that head onto the keyboard, saved at the end of the day, printed out, becomes something some other people will use to do some other things, become products that gets on the shelf that yes, it starts with that person sitting down that you think is not doing anything. What do you even do? You just go and sit and drink coffee in your office. Well, come and sit and drink coffee like me. Eh? I, I'll gladly share my workload with you, please. Okay? No job is easy. No job is inconsequential. None. And just imagine getting into your office one day, the cleaner is ill, didn't come to work. So the office is not cleaned. That's a cleaner. I beg. Well, so no job is, or you have a cook, you employ the cook at home, the cook is ill, what couldn't work. Well, you will go and do the cooking. So maybe you now understand that cooking is not just, no job, every job is important. Let's explain that. Even to our children. Yes. And then there's something important among the so many important things about this whole issue of get your children to know what you do and keep them informed. You can arrange a field office visit with your children to let them see you at work. You can ask, depending on where you work, if it's somewhere you need to get clearance, invite them over. This is daddy's office. Okay, this is me at work. This is what I do. Dad, you do all of this? Yes, you get the idea now. Good. Okay. It might not be possible for all parents to do that, but that's certainly doable. It gets them to buy into who you are, what you are doing, and the reason why, at least part of the reasons why you could look non-committal at home when you get home. Like you are not interested in anything. Not that you are not interested, but then you just not. You could just barely, do basic things because you are tired. You are entitled to be tired. So we are just saying all of this to help us to get to bond with our children, even in that atmosphere or state of being tired. Before you get tired, they already know. Daddy, sorry. Can I bring you this? Can I? Yes, because you have engaged them, they have an understanding, and you communicate. Okay. Another community member here say, is it better to prioritize less demanding jobs that pay less if it means being more emotionally present at home? Those are two different things, or maybe even more than two, that are packed in that question. Okay? Your job, you have bills to pay. Remember, we didn't say providing for your children, for your family is not important. So you need to do as your job needs to be as well paying as possible. Okay? But then remember again, in all of this, we always say that parenting is a team job. If yourself and your partner are in the same team, as in your family, your parenting job, you can back yourselves. You can stand in for yourselves. It helps. It's like in your workplace, a particular team member did not come, but the job he or she has to do needs to be done, and you sit in for that person. So in your parenting jobs, agree. Call your wife, call your husband, call your partner and say, well, it looks like today it's tough. The kids just do X, Y, Z for them. I agree to do this. I explain, okay, when you are talking with them, please call me so I can speak with them. You are in the same team. In that kind of a scenario, nobody will be unhappy. When you get home, as a matter of fact, they'll be feeling sorry for you before you get home. Okay? So the issue of should I take a less paying job, that is something you and your spouse or you and your partner plan together. Okay? In this part of the world where people work different shifts and all of that, for you to be able to have time, be present for your children, don't do the same shifts. As in, both of you don't work morning shifts or night shifts. Agree and look for jobs that allow you and that allows for one of you to be at home at any given time. Okay? If the husband, if daddy works night, mommy, deliberately, you guys look for a day job. So by the time daddy is coming home in the morning, you are getting ready to go to work or even haven't gone to work. Of course, they would have gone to school. So there's always somebody at home. Work as a team. That's another way of working smart. Okay? So that other job that might now fit into what will allow the two of you to work different shifts might not be as well paying as maybe the night shift job or maybe the day shift job, but because there's a reason for which at least you're earning something to also make your own contribution to the family's commonwealth. Okay, I mean, needs and uh, obligations. Okay, so you're earning something, but everybody understands why you are doing that job, because that is what could help with you being there to cover up when the other big earner is. So in this case, both partners really, really have to have their act together. That will not be the time to begin to compete and any more than you after all. No. In any home when kind of any such things happen, you don't have a family. You don't have a home. Okay? That other individual could, both parents doing high octane, high paying jobs, high demand jobs, the children will suffer for it. You could give them everything in the world that money can buy. You cannot replace yourself with things. We've said it last week. Okay? But even when you have made that schedule, somebody is at home in the morning, somebody is at home at night, on the evening, you know, so that you should still need to work out a family time when all of you are together in one place and plan to do certain group activities together. Everybody, every family member. Okay? There's another contribution. He said, would it be a good strategy for partners to take turns bonding with children after work each day? For example, mother on Monday, father on Tuesday. On paper, maybe that might work on paper. But remember, some children prefer to be with certain parents at certain times. It's not permanent. Okay? But we're talking here about being Monday or Tuesday. Why Monday or Tuesday? If it is that's the day you are off or you are available, that is it. It's not. Sometimes these things are not up to us, especially if we are working. I take my family as my children were growing up as an example. Because I was self-employed, I cut down on my travels deliberately. Their mother was busy, had to travel internationally most times, really. Okay, so well, locally and internationally. So I decided to cut down my own travel, schedules so that I can be with the children. And when you do such, don't do it in such a way to spite the person who is not around. No, it has to be done in agreement. And you explain to the children, your mom is not around, went to work, is traveling. As a matter of fact, when the travels happen, get together, see him, see her, or the one that travels. Everybody see the person off to the airport, up to the motor park or whatever. So everybody knows that he travels, not that it's not available because he don't care about you. And the communication that should ensue between the children and the one that is available should not be that the other person don't care about them. That's why it's not there. It's still going back to the whole issue of being a team. You have to have a common goal. That common goal is to bring your children up to be the best versions of themselves. Okay, so we're going to take a break now. So this whole thing is not just, we told you last episode that I'm sure you saw, we've produced a video that would help you to take these points one after the other, okay, in the video itself. So enjoy the video. I'm still here waiting for you when the video is over so we can continue. Thank you so very much.
You work hard all day, pushing through meetings, deadlines, and endless tasks. But what do you really bring home after all that? Is there enough left of you for your family once the workday ends? Watch till the end to discover why giving your best only at work can cost you more than you think, and how to change that. You pour your energy, focus, and drive into your job, yet, when you finally get home there is barely anything left to give. Just enough to go through the motions, scrolling on your phone, nodding along, saying later. But your children, they are watching. They are waiting. Not for your paycheck, but for your time, your attention, your presence. As Dr. Richie Adewusi writes in 7.5 Temptations Parents Face, you deserve to rest after a hard day's work, but remember you are on 2 shifts, your job shift and the home shift. You need to resist the temptation to use up all your best of everything at work. The greatest success is not in what you build outside the home, but in the connections you nurture inside it. You do not need to be perfect, but you do need to be present. Your family deserves more than just leftovers.
Welcome back. That video you could get, by visiting YouTube channel. You could get it as a separate, content, which you could view at your own convenience outside of the stream. As outlined there, your children want you. You've gone, you've walked, you've stressed to give them the best. Yes. But After all of that, they still are waiting to play with you, tell you how their day went or didn't go. You know, if they can reach you, it begins to leave some marks. Okay? Those marks begin to percolate. Over time, they just are not bothered about you anymore. They move on. Okay? You are there with them, you're still family. Yeah, once in a while that you tell they will go out to their children, but then they've made their minds up. Psychologists tell us that children by age 8, they have formed a whole lot of. So you should be careful, very careful within those age ranges from their toddler years to the time they are 8 years to really, really make your presence felt with them in spite of your workload. Work it out. Sometimes, due to circumstances, well, beyond our control, we are alone with our children, as either as mom or dad. And then people begin to talk about single parent. You are still a parent. You still have to find ways around this. You have to build partnerships with other community members, with other people, family members that can step in for you when you're not there. Trusted, yes, not just anybody. Okay, you still have to. You can't. You can. Where I come from, they say it takes a village to train a child. One person, one individual, one family actually, some time ago, not now anymore, not train any child. Okay, now you hear, are you my father? You can't, when we were growing up, you can't ask an elderly person that used backhand to reset your brain for doing something wrong, are you my father? You will get another shot, they'll reset it the other side. And then take you to that your father to say, can you imagine your son asking me, am I? Then your dad, in the presence of that elder, would administer another brain resetting, measure or procedure for you. So there's a lot that's wrong today, okay? And that's for another episode of this parenting program. So let's not get into that, okay? A comment member here says, how can a parent repair emotional gaps caused by years of exhaustion and absence? Start gradually. The first thing is that you know there's a gap. You already know the reason for the gap. Years of absence. There could be so many scenarios that could be responsible for that. Okay? Try to become friends, not things. It's still communication. You have to still spend time, ask questions, talk about yourself, what you've been doing or what has created, not in one sitting. It can't happen in one sitting. Okay? And then the one that has been being around with the child, interrogate that person, that partner that has spent more time with the child to find out certain, character traits, if you like, or behavioral patterns or traits of the particular child. Okay? And use now to build your relationship rebuilding process with that child. It's not going to, and I have seen where such is the case and the parent gets discouraged and say, what, well, he has his life to live or she has a life to live, I have my life to live. She doesn't end there. Both of you are still here in this part of eternity, and you still get to relate one way or the other. So the earlier you apply workable strategies to get to build that, it might not be what it would have been if that issue of absence hadn't been protracted, like the question says, it hadn't been long, okay? The child could be withdrawn, doesn't feel comfortable, might not even know you. Or it might be you that don't feel drawn to the child, but it's still your child. The, the bond we have to find a way. At least basic relationship, with the child needs to be built. In some cases, it might not be one child, some cases it might be children. And each individual is different. So you not get to think that what you did that got this person to now, oh, daddy, the other person will be exactly the same. I'll be looking at you. What's wrong with him? Who is this? Who is daddy? Since when? Okay. So you also need, that's why I said earlier, the partner or the parent that has spent more time with this child or these children for the time that you had not been around for whatever reason, you need to talk a lot more with that partner to learn about each of the children. Okay? How can I decompress at home after work before I spend time with my kids without TV or social media? How can you decompress? Well, that's a heavy time, but then let's try to see if we understand what you mean by decompress. You are stressed, okay, you're tired. Let's just put it in, simple terms that people like us can understand and follow. Okay, you are tired and you are thinking about what should you do to up your energy. Okay, to again, sometimes it might actually not be up to you. Okay, and let me explain what I mean. You've gone to work. You close from the office, let's say about 4 5 p.m. But you spend another 3 hours in the traffic before you get home. Okay? And when you get home, you have to stay in that traffic again the next day. Okay? Yeah. The next day is still there to face. So sometimes for some of it's enough weight. All they just want to do is crash somewhere, sleep, catch as much sleep as possible before they get back on the trail the next day. Have that conversation. The first point of decompression is let your children understand what your daily routine is and why you come home when you come home, why you leave home when. Let them understand why you are not the one who would go to drop them off at school. Okay? Don't take it for granted that they should understand you have to go to work. No, don't. Discuss it. Let them know. By the time you are leaving for work, it's too early for them to get up and begin to go to school. You can't go and drop them in the school compound at what time? Well, the other children are not there. School time is still maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours later. Some parents do that. But then they end up exposing those children to some other kinds of emotional traumas because they drop them and leave. Most times they leave them with some stranger, the gate man of the school or whoever in the school. Those children begin to build up a different kind of personality from that age. Okay? So it's better to let the children know daddy has to go, mommy has to leave for work at this time because if I don't leave now, I'm going to spend so hour in the traffic and I'll be late. Okay? So I can't wake you up. You need to sleep. You need to rest well. Okay? The school bus will pick you up or mommy will take you to school. So you can return the, the being present thing by inter-house sports, prize giving day, school's cultural day. You plan to attend it with them. Okay? The regular drop at school, you can't do because of the demands of getting and returning from work. You explain it. All of this we've been saying, discuss, explain. Don't say their children, they won't understand. The important thing is offload it. Say, let it come out of you nicely. Not well, I said it, no. And so that when there are issues down the road, say, do you remember so time we had to, so yes, daddy, that's what's happening. I love you, but the work. But I explained it that time. And daddy, can't you sometimes, unless I don't go, you don't want me to go, daddy, no, you've got to go to work. You have that conversation. Don't take it for granted. Have that conversation with the child, with the children. Okay? As for you, you must know, we are still talking about what do you do to decompress. I said the first decompression compartment is the children. Yeah? You go and decompress, explain what needs to be explained to them so that you're on the same page. Then, as for yourself, you must know the things that get you relaxed. Different people have different routines, have different things that at least bring their minds and their energy back to some certain level. But for everybody, sleep is still a magical thing. Okay. And that's actually part of the reason that most parents just don't have that time. Oh, I have to sleep. So, and they switch up later. Maybe when I wake up. Even if it has to be when you wake up, say it nicely. Have that discussion of when daddy comes back from work, is tired. I just have to take a nap. When I get up, we can agree. Okay. Daddy, you slept, you are up now. Can we do that? Yes. And sometimes we lose it. Yes. We react in ways that are not proper, that put the children off and make them walk and go. Actually, some children will go and cry. Learn to apologize. Okay? When your own level of frustration has come under control, learn to go to the child and apologize. The other time, I'm sorry about the way I reacted. I was, sorry. Can we now have that discussion? Can we talk now? The child will be happy. It says you care. It says you have that child at heart. You don't have that discussion, the child keeps it. He doesn't care about me. She doesn't care about me. Okay? All right. Is it okay to just sit with my kids quietly after work when I don't have energy to engage fully? You are not there. It's not okay. In short, it might even be better you are not sitting quietly with them. Do what you need to do to regain your energy for a bit of time and then come back to them. Or if that is not possible on a daily basis, we have already said it earlier. Agree with your children that, look, when I come back from work, I'm tired, and so, but on my off days, we can do this, we can go. Where are we going the next off day? Yeah, daddy, here. They would make, okay, go and agree and say where we are going or what we are doing. You develop activities you could do with them on the days you are not working and keep to them, please. Don't promise them anything and say I'm not doing and think it's just because you said so. It hasn't gone away. You are telling them something, you don't care for them, you don't have time for them. And that's not a good thing. Okay? So It might not work on a daily. You can. I'm not sure there's any of us that has more than 24 hours in a day. Okay, so you are come, you're tired, you need to rest, to regroup, discuss it, agree. But if you're the kind of person that 1 hour nap or whatever your routine is that gets you back on, get back to your energy level, tell them, okay, let me just, in a while, I'll join you. Then go sort yourself out, refresh, and then come back smiling. Hey guys, what happened in school today? Daddy, start. You can't sit. You are not there. That is not the presence that is needed. That's not the presence we are talking about. It's not, that's a malicious presence. Okay? It won't work. It's not productive. It's not helpful. Okay? And another community member here says, sometimes I pretend I'm listening while I'm thinking about work. Do you think my children know? You bet they know. So I'm sure this person asking this question already know your children know. They know. So don't pretend. Don't pretend. Be sincere with them. One thing you should not do with your children is tell them lies about anything. Anything. What you don't want to discuss, don't discuss. Tell them, I'm not willing to, I am not able to discuss this now. When we can discuss it later. And if you promise them to discuss anything later, please find that time and have that discussion that later. As a matter of, if your children are like somebody that grew up around me, Daddy, is it later? Is it later now? They will keep coming back to you to ask if it is later. So you do yourself a favor by putting a time frame to that later. We'll discuss it tomorrow when I return from work or before I go. Or we'll discuss it at the weekend when we have our outing. Be specific. Always fix such things at times that you know that both you and the child would, not be preoccupied with any other thing. And then you sort that out. But keep the promise. Please. Okay? I'm going to take this question, this contribution, this question, and that's going to be the last one for today. But don't worry, leave your comments, leave your question, leave your perspective in the chat section, either on the YouTube channel or any of our social media handles. You can be sure we'll respond. Okay? Our email address is available on our YouTube channel. You can send us mails on any parenting issues that you like for us to discuss, or even if you want us to have them discuss on the program itself, just let us know specific. Or if it's a personal issue you want to talk about, feel free, reach out to us. That's why we're here. We will help, okay, in as much as we can. What if my spouse doesn't understand how drained I feel and thinks I'm being lazy at home? The only reason why your spouse would not discuss how drained you are is that you've not discussed it. You've not shared it. Okay? Don't assume that people will know what's happening to you if you do not communicate what's happening to you or with you. We said earlier, if your work environment is such that you can arrange family, visits sometimes, let your children come and see, let your family come and see what you do. Okay? They might not be able to stay with you for the whole work day, whatever, but they have an idea of what it is that you do. Okay? But coming back to this community member that asked this question now, discuss, be open. People cannot, do magic to know what is happening with you or to you if you do not share. Share, especially with your partner. Then your partner can then be in a better position to be able to stand in for you with the children. non-maliciously. Okay, you will say I'm using malicious often. Well, yeah, a lot of things that happen in certain environment is malicious. Okay, yeah, he's there or she's there, but then the other person's not there is because, well, that community member says I'm lazy. Actually, you might think you are doing what you are doing deliberately. You don't have an idea of what you do at work or how. Yeah, and it wouldn't be like, what do you even do in your workplace? Is it just not to share, talk about it, agree on what needs to happen? At times, you come home drained. I agree. Both parties, not just the male or the mommy or the daddy, agree. If I come home like this or this one happens, please just know that I need a little bit time for myself. Okay? I agree on it with the children, with your spouse, with your partner. Okay? That is it for our show today on the Slow Parenting podcast on Nostalgia Media. My name is Richie Adewusi. You can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on any of our other social media handles. Like I said earlier, you can leave your comments, you can engage, but please, we keep appealing to you. We have a lot of people writing letters to us. We will help you to grow your audience. With and at the end of the day, it's bots that AI bots that they're using to populate, and then it creates problems for the channel. We are focused and determined to attend to that one person, even if it's just one person that is following the channel, that what we are doing here makes sense for. Okay, it's not a crowd thing. Of course, we're here to get across to as many parents as possible that have needs of the things we are discussing here, and it's every parent actually, But then we wouldn't go to use AI bots to up what we're doing. Yes, there are some companies that work at organic growth and all of that. When we find it such, we would employ, but not AI followers. Okay. So we thank you for being part of our show today, and we thank you for subscribing. Every episode we say, please subscribe, please share, and like I said, the video you watched, viewed, watched in the course of the program is available as a separate content that you can download and watch and send to anybody that that it might be beneficial to. Okay, thank you so very much. Till we come your way again next Wednesday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and 7 p.m. West African time, including Nigeria. Stay blessed. Keep talking. Bye-bye.